Good day, everyone. My name is Carren Mortezo, a student from Bachelor of Science in Industrial Engineering. So I'm currently in my third year. I am in Section A. Today, I'll be sharing a vlog presentation as part of our subject, Risk Management. Risk management plays a vital role in our field because it helps us identify, analyze, and control potential threats that can affect operations, safety, and overall efficiency. So for this vlog, I've chosen to focus on the topic risk identification and assessment techniques. So I selected this topic because effective risk management always begins with the ability to recognize and evaluate risks before they escalate into serious problems. So according to the International Organizations for Standardization, ISO 31000-2018, risk management is a structured process that starts with the identification and assessment before moving to control or mitigation. In this vlog, I explain what risk identification and assessment mean, discuss widely used techniques, and shares examples of how they are applied in real-life industrial settings. Risk identification is the process of finding, listing, and describing potential risks that may affect operations. So it answers the question, what could go wrong? Risk assessment, on the other hand, involves analyzing and prioritizing those risks based on two main factors: the likelihood of occurrences and the severity of occurrences. So as emphasized by the International Labor Organization, assessing risk helps organizations decide which ones require urgent attention and which can be tolerated. So together, these steps form the foundation of every risk management plan. These are several structured methods industries use to identify risks, such as brainstorming, checklist, hazard and operability study, and failure mode and effects analysis, and so on. So in brainstorming, teams gather to list possible risks based on their experience. So an example of this is a construction team identifying potential hazards like falling objects or worker fatigue. So in checklist, using standardized list of common risks as a guide. So this is very effective in repetitive industries like food production. So in hazard and operability study, it is a systematic review of process to identify hazards and deviations. And lastly, the failure mode and effects analysis. So it is a structured technique where every component or process is examined for possible failure modes, so their effects and their causes. So as explained by Stamatis in his book Failure Mode and Effect Analysis, it is widely used in manufacturing and healthcare to proactively address risk before they happen. So once risks are identified, they must be assessed. So here the common techniques include qualitative risk assessment, quantitative risk assessment, and prioritization method. So in qualitative risk assessment, risks are categorized as low, medium, or high, often visualized in a risk matrix, while in quantitative risk assessment, it involves numerical methods such as probability models or fault tree analysis. So the example is the power plants. So probabilities of equipment failure are calculated to predict downtime and costs. So in prioritization methods, for instance, FMEA uses a risk priority number combining severity, occurrence, and detection to highlight the most critical risks. According to Cooper, 2014, in Project Risk Management Guidelines, these assessment techniques help organizations allocate resources effectively by focusing on the most significant risks. To make this more concrete, let's consider a manufacturing plant where the risk is machine overheating. So, identification methods such as brainstorming or checklist may highlight overheating as a hazard. Assessment then asks how likely is overheating, and what would the consequences be. So if overheating happens often and can cause fires or stoppages, it would rank as a highly priority risk. So with this assessment, the company can justify investing in preventive maintenance or installing sensors to reduce the chance of failure. In summary, risk identification and assessment techniques are the foundation of industrial risk management. So without knowing what risk exists and how severe they might be, organizations cannot plan effective controls. By applying structured methods such as brainstorming, HAZOP and FMEA for identification, and tools like risk matrices and quantitative models for assessment, industries can prioritize risk and design better responses. As ISO 31000-2018 and the International Labor Organization both emphasize, early identification and structured assessment are the keys to safer and more efficient industrial operations. So, as future industrial engineers, mastering these techniques will allow us to design processes that protect both workers and organizations. To conclude, effective risk management is not just about identifying problems, but also about preparing practical solutions. So, before issues even occur. So, thank you so much for watching my vlog. I hope you learned something valuable today. Until next time, stay safe and be risk aware.